So, welcome you again. Now, today I'm going to start the chapter called function. Now, this is basically the starting of the new topic as far as class 12 syllabus is concerned. Now, before this, whatever we have done, as you all know, that these all were basically the review of class 11. Now, function is the first chapter in that case of class 11, 12 syllabus. Now, function in class 11 we have done or we have used so many functions. Now here in this chapter we are going to discuss the function in more detail, right? First let me tell you what is a function. Function is basically a group of statements. Now again you may be thinking that okay, we have done functions in class 11, so we know. Yes, you know, but as far as our knowledge, as far as class 11 syllabus is concerned, our knowledge is to calling a function, right? We have used function, but we do not know the backbone of a function. We do not know what is a function or how it is created, or as far as program is concerned, how to make the program for a function, right? We know how to call a function. For an example, very beginning we have done a function called print. We have done a function called input. Some mathematical functions we have done like pow, sqrt. Then we have done a very common function, that is len function. Then we have done so many functions related to string. We have done so many functions related to list. We have done so many functions related to dictionary, tuple, all those so many functions we have done. But now here we are here to know what is a function. As I said, that function is a group of statements. So group of statements. Now one group of statements but will have a name. A group of statements but will have a name, used by calling it. So I can use a function by calling it. Let's take an example. Suppose whenever we write print and inside we have written so many things. Now whenever we are using this, basically we are calling the function. Whenever you call the functions, then the lines, that is group of statements, all the lines will be executed. Whenever you will call the function, those lines will be called, right? Can be reused. That is very important point about function. Can be reused. Suppose in one program we may have used so many print statements. We can use. That means every time you are using print, every time you are calling the print function, so that means you are reusing. You write once and you can execute as many number of times you require. So can be reused. You write once and reuse again and again as per your requirement. Understood? So this is basically function, right? Okay. On the other hand, function leads to modular approach of program. What do you mean by modular approach? Modular approach basically, if I have a complicated program or complex program where I'm going to solve so many things together in a little bit bigger one, then what will I do is I will divide the big program into small modules. Let's take an example. I am developing the program or the application for a calculator. Now can you imagine if I write a so-called procedural approach of programming? That means you are writing the program from the beginning and till the end, one by one line you will execute. Then what is going to happen? No matter I want to add the numbers, because over there multiplication is also there, division is also there, subtraction is also there, all will execute. But over here what will I do is I will make one module, one function for plus, one function for minus, one function for multiplication, one function for divide. Let's say I created 4 functions. Whenever I want to add 2 numbers, I will call this function. Now whenever I will be calling these functions are there. These functionalities of these 3 operations are there, but they will not execute because I did not call them. I only called the function which is there for the summation. Whenever I will require to multiply 2 numbers, then I will call the function for product. Then these 3 functions will be inactive, it will not be executed. So that means I have these 4 functions ready with me, but I am controlling, I am monitoring, I am controlling the execution of these codes. What is required, I will call that one. What is not, I will not call. Getting my idea? That is basically the modular approach of the program. Modular approach tells you only execute that part of the code which you require at present. The rest part of the code will not be executed, and maybe one part you will be requiring so many times and rest of the codes you are not executing, not a problem. So creating or using function in a program will lead to the modular approach of a program, which is very successful, popular, as well as very advanced also. Like to make a complicated program into simple one. That is to delegate the whole job into smaller job, so that each and every part will take care of their job. Because we know that the function will do the specific task for what it is created. মানে যে কাজটার জন্য ফাংশনটা বানানো হয়েছে, only that will be done, because only those lines of codes will be executed, those are there inside the function body. Understood? So that is basically the like concept about function, right? Okay. Now let's come to what are the types of functions. One type is the built-in or inbuilt function. One type is the modules, and another type is the user defined. So one is the built-in type, one is the module, another one is the user defined types. Now let's come to what do you mean by built-in type of function. Built-in type of function means which are there in the function library, like our book library. So books are stored. Which book you need, you just pick up the book and read and keep it there. So many books, you have to choose which one I want to read. I want to read these ones, so pick it up, read it and keep it. So this way, like, we can handle a book library. Similarly, function library will have plenty of functions. Which function you need, just call those functions and you can only just use it without doing anything. We can just only use it without doing anything. Just take an example of, let's say, print function. For using the print function, do we need to do anything? No, you just call this. To use the input function, have we done anything extra? We only just used it. That means we have only just called it. So what are the built-in functions? One is the input function, one is the print function. Then all the data conversion functions. Data conversion function means, suppose we have done int, it's a data conversion function. If you write any string value inside, that gets converted to int function. Normally within if I want to read a number, then using int I use print, like the print is kept inside the int function, so that whatever whatever we read, sorry, not print, input function. How we wrote, if you remember, we wrote int, then input, and then this. Because why we have used this? Because whatever you enter, the input function reads the data in the form of string. So that means even if you enter a number, that is being stored as a string. Now this will be like this. So that means ultimately I will get 124 as a number. So int function does this kind of conversion. So like this way, we have other functions also, like we have str, we have float, eval, then we have list. So this way, these are all the built-in functions. So one more time I am telling once again that to use the built-in function, I do not need to do anything. What I need to only call these. I mean, just use it. Don't do anything. Right? Okay, fine. Next, come to modules. Now, whenever you come to module is again the next step of the the built-in functions. Modules are also built-in, but why these two are separated? Because built-in function, they stay alone. Alone means it's a separate file, and the definitions are there in the inbuilt platform. In the inbuilt, in the environment only, the functions are there and you need to just use it. But what happens in modules? Modules is basically group of similar functions. Modules means a group of similar functions. Now whenever we talk about module, suppose there is one module, it's like a packet. It's like a packet. Now whenever I hand it over to a food packet, now in that packet you will not find anything other than food. So food packet means all items will be related to food only. So whenever I talk about module, let's take an example of a module you have done, like a math module. Math is not a function, math is a module. Now inside the math module, I have so many functions which are related to mathematical operation. So all the functions are very much similar, or the type is similar, or type is same. Like we used math.sqrt, math.pow, math.fabs, math.round. So these are what? Math.log, log10, math.cos, math.tan, math.sin. All these are what? You are all doing mathematical operations. So there is a bunch of functions which are kept under the math module. So it is just a bigger thing. It's just a bigger thing. It's a broader approach of built-in functions to modules. So what happens in case of modules? Modules, this should be imported. This should be imported. That is the very important thing. Like if I want to use sqrt, I have to write math.sqrt, and this math module should be imported before. That means I must write import math. Before you write, before you use this, you write import math. Once you write import math, then all the functions under the math module will be imported to your program, and you can use any function which are under the math module. So if you do not write this line, then this line will show error because it will not be able to connect. So have this connectivity, I must write this import statement. Once you import that math module, I can use all the functions which are there in the math module. So apart from math module, so one module we have done, that is math module. We have done also random module, if you remember. Random module. To use random also, what we are supposed to use? We were supposed to write import random. If you do not write this, then the functions which are there under the random module you cannot use. Just take an example, like under random module we have a random function, we have a function called rand range, we have a function called rand int, we have a function called shuffle. So these functions are there. Like shuffle we have not done in class 11, but we have done rand int, rand range, random. All these three functions we have used, and all these three functions are there in the random module. So one thing is there, that modules means what you have to import, but the definition or the body of the functions are written. It is also predefined set of function group. Now, so these are the two, this built-in as well as modules. These two are, inbuilt. You can consider modules also as inbuilt one, because like under math sqrt function we only call it, but as it is a broader thing, so I need to import the module. That is basically built-in function and modules, right? Now come to the user defined function. This is basically the most important thing, and this is the place where you need to give your concentration. As the name suggests, user defined function means the functions which is defined by the user, which is defined by the user. Like these are not the library functions, the function which are defined by the user. So that means user defined function means they are defined by the user. It's not a built-in or ready-made function. It's not a library function. Why we need to do this? Because we may have so many requirements on the basis of the scenario or the program statement or the problem statement that are not being satisfied or can be solved by the ready-made or built-in ones. So I need to customize, I need to develop, I need to define my requirement wise, I need to define one function. So those functions will be called user defined functions, right? Okay. Now we will now give a time for user defined functions. Now user defined. For the user defined function, there will be two components. what? One will be function definition, another one function call. One is the function definition or defining the function. If you call that function, what it will do exactly, that is the most important thing. And function call means like we called print, so that is the function call statement. Like whenever I will use, that is basically calling the function. So let's make it apart. First concentrate over here, function definition. Under function definition, first thing, that is I need to use one keyword. Keyword use is def. While I will define a function, I will use a keyword define. Not define, the keyword will be def. Once you use the keyword def, then you need to write the name of the function and one colon is required. So if I give the syntax to define a function, first I will write define function name argument body. Now if you understand or not, define. Now whenever I will as I said that def, this is a keyword. Then the function name, whatever function name you want, you give. After that, one open and close parenthesis, and inside that you will give argument, also called parameter. And all of us know that whenever we start a body, the header of a body, this is basically called function header. And whenever one header comes, we give a colon, like after for, after if, elif, else, we put a header. That is the starting of a body. So starting of a body, that is a colon. After this, the body will come over here, and you just see this is indented. This is indented. Now indented means I can have more than one lines. Whatever lines should come inside the function body should be indented, and that you all know very well. So whenever I will call this function, all these lines will be executed. Whenever I will call these functions, all these lines will be executed. Over here you need to remember one thing, this def function, before defining def keyword, that is compulsory, you have to give, is a mandatory keyword. After that, function name, obviously without a name function cannot be created, so the name of the function, that is also compulsory. But this argument is optional. Argument is optional. Suppose if you need argument, then you will give. If you do not need an argument, don't give. So it depends on the scenario or the situation or the problem statement, whether you need an argument or not, that you have to decide. But argument is an optional thing, right? And after that, colon is obviously, and the body. Now body can be a single line or it can be multiple line. After that, at the end, I will require one keyword called return. But this return is also optional. At the end of the function body, should be indented also, that return statement or return is a keyword. This is also optional. So without return also I can define a function. Without argument also I can define a function. So these two are the, argument is not a keyword. That's why I kept under that angular bracket. But return, it is a keyword. But these two are optional. So at initial level I will not give any example with argument or as with return statement. Let's take an example. Suppose if I write define I gave a name my function, right? So define my function, open close, no argument and colon, and then I am writing print good morning and print bye. So this is a simple way of defining a function. So that means what is going to happen, there is a function called my function will be created with no argument, and the function body will have two lines, and the two lines is what? First line it will print good morning, second line it will print bye. Create this function. So this is the function definition done. Now come to function call. Later part of the program, if I write okay, just write my function. Whenever I will write my function, basically I am invoking this function, that is called invocation or calling. So whenever I am just writing this, the program flow will jump from here to here and it will execute these two lines. So that means the times you will be writing my function, it will show good morning, bye. How many times I wrote? One time, but over here you call 5 times. So you will see 5 times good morning, 5 times bye. If you call this 100 times, then 100 times good morning, bye will be shown. Getting my idea or not? So this is basically like simple way. Like what happens is whenever I write print hello. So that means from here we can understand hello is the argument. Hello is the argument. But over here I made this function without argument. Now anyway, basically whenever you write print hello, so the print function body gets executed where it is written? Yes, it is written in the Python environment as it is a built-in function. But exactly the same way, my function you invoked and the flow of the program jumped over here and executed these two lines and came back. Now again, so that means if I do this, what will be the output? So output of this will be, first it will display good morning, then again it will display bye, then from here it will come back, again it will display hello. Suppose again if I write my function, so again it will display good morning and bye. Understood? So I called this function 2 times. So 2 times good morning by display. Now what happens is whenever you are calling this function, these 2 lines executed and returns back. Again print hello, that means hello is executed. Hello after execution, again I called up my function. That means from here again it came, displayed these 2 lines and it returns back. So this is basically the thing happens, like I will call, it will go, it will execute and again it will come back. So when it will come back, that means it is coming back, that means it is returning back. Now that is the reason, like I told that return statement I will tell later on, but at this moment I am not telling. So this is basically how the user defined function is written and how it is called. So for this is an overview of function. What is function? What are the different types of functions? Like built-in function, modules, and most important is the user-defined function. And I told user-defined functions, they have 2 components or 2 areas, where one area where we define the function, that is most important, and the second the invocation of the function or calling statement of the function. Understood? So calling statement of the function, like from where you are invoking. So this is basically the 2 parts, and we have to take care of the syntaxes and all, argument and return type. That will do in my next video. Hope you have understood. Fine. All the best.